Hey friends, let's talk about overthinking because there's too many of you doing it way too much. And, just like me. That used to be me. I used to overthink everything. I used to just think about it all, everything, all the time, for way too long, just way too much, and just hold on to thoughts and worries and just, crazy thinking about it now, just how much I was thinking, and I was so in my head. Oh my God, especially when it came to difficult situations, especially in relationships. I could just worry about a text message for forever. And I was worrying about what other people thought about me a lot. When I, let's say, did something, said something, I would think about, was that the right thing? And I would think about that for ages. And it just, wow, how much wasted energy. Unbelievable. And essentially what happens is we hold on to thoughts. We hold on to them really, really tightly because our mind, our ego just doesn't want to let go because it thinks it can figure something out by thinking about it over and over again. We think we can get a solution where it's almost like, it's not almost like, we are addicted to that habit of overthinking. And it's really just that. It's a habit. And as much as we can let go of habits and adopt new habits, we can totally transform the habit of overthinking so that we can actually use that energy in a way that benefits us more and the world and everything. The problem with overthinking is that it's not just that it takes up a lot of energy. It also just really blocks us from moving forward. It blocks us from making decisions. It keeps us stuck. And I feel like being stuck is one of the just useless places to be because it's self-induced. Like, we're responsible for keeping ourselves stuck, basically. And also, when you're overthinking, when you're in that mode and your monkeys are going crazy and you just on and you just go round and round and the same thoughts over and over again, you just go crazy a bit, right? And it's like there's so much anxiety that you produce in your body by overthinking so much. And being in fear mode all the time and having that fight or flight response going on, that is just not healthy for you. It causes a lot of stress to your body. So, eventually you get sick, your immune system suffers, and being under constant stress is probably the worst thing that we can do to ourselves. So, what do we do? What do we do with all these thoughts? For one, I'd like you to just become aware of the fact that where focus goes, energy flows. If your focus is up here, onto some external thing out here, other people's opinions of you, or on judging yourself, on just trying to figure stuff out, you're not actually in your body, you're out there. And I believe that when we're overthinking, when we're in anxiety mode, it's not actually about the overthinking. People are like, what can I do because I overthink everything? I'm like, now wait a second. Overthinking is just a symptom. Anxiety is just a symptom. What's way more important to look at is what is underneath that. What are the feelings underneath that? What are the fears? What are the limiting beliefs? What is all of that stuff that's below the surface? All you worry about is, oh my God, how can I stop overthinking? How can I overcome my anxiety? But people don't actually take the time and go deeper and explore what it is that actually makes them overthink and feel anxious. And I believe that especially when it comes to overthinking, there's a lot of insecurities going on. A lot of fears of not being good enough, of making the wrong decisions, of just basically putting our focus outwards. And the first step is to actually connect to all of these fears, to all of these insecurities, to all of these limiting beliefs, identify what's actually going on. If you're overthinking something, connect to yourself. Number one, where does it sit in your body? You're overthinking, that's in your brain, I get that, but the underlying fear, insecurity, where is it? And what is it? What are you scared of? What are you trying to figure out? What is your brain trying to figure out? And once you locate it in your body and once you understand what's actually going on, then you can do the actual work. And that means actually sitting with it, giving whatever is there space. When we overthink stuff, we give it a lot of space up here, but we're never really in our bodies. But that's where our fears sit. And so you gotta give it space and sit with it. And that's why meditation is so important, because it lets you become the observer of what's actually going on up here. And then you can create space and see that you're not your thoughts. You're just the one observing the thoughts. And then you can feel into your body and actually give all these feelings and all these fears and insecurities the space and attention that they need. Because what we tend to do is that we try to push them away. We don't want to feel stuff. And we end up overthinking and not feeling. So sit with these fears of not being good enough, or maybe that you did something wrong. And where is that all coming from? Give it space, give it love, give yourself compassion. I think that's one of the number one things we all need to learn is how can we develop self-compassion? Compassion for ourselves, how can we connect to our inner child? How can we connect to our soul and that part of ourselves that needs healing? How can we connect to these old wounds, that hurt us when we were children, but they're very active today as adults? So the first step is to meditate daily, not just when you are feeling anxious or when you're overthinking. Everything that I share with you in terms of, solutions, I want you to have daily habits in place, things that you do on a daily basis, because it's not just about acting on something as it happens when it comes to overthinking or anxiety or fears. It's about doing the work every single day. And so number one is meditation, especially when you catch yourself being in full-on monkey mode, overthinking stuff, being anxious. Sit your ass down, tune in, just close your eyes and observe what's actually going on and identify what the fears are that are underneath all of those thoughts. And the next thing will be, you do that for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, longer, but give yourself some time. And don't push anything away. Don't resist anything. The thing is, the pain, that happens. Yeah, it happens, But the suffering is optional. And we only suffer because we're in resistance to what's happening right now. We're in resistance to feelings, to fears. We're in resistance to having all these thoughts. And after the meditation, or in general, journal that shit out. Whatever's going on up here, vomit it out. I call it a brain vomit. But just get that stuff out of your system and onto a piece of paper. Literally write it out, not just on your computer. It really helps, number one, to find clarity, and number two, to just create new, fresh space up here. Because the thing is, you're never gonna figure everything out up here. It's just not gonna happen. Now, two things that you can do like right here, right now, especially when you're in full-on overthinking and anxiety mode, is number one, close your eyes, take 6 deep breaths. 6 deep breaths. They change your state completely. And there have been studies around the effects of taking 6 deep breaths. They lower your blood pressure. They make all the difference. So when you're caught up here and you're going crazy, and it's just getting worse and worse, stop yourself, take 6 deep breaths, and then meditate or journal. Or another thing that also really helps is the EFT, the tapping, emotional freedom technique. There's a lot of videos on YouTube and lots of stuff online, but essentially you tap on certain points on your body, and that really helps to chill you out. So go and explore EFT tapping. And now here's 2 things that I want you to do regularly. And as much as I practice everything that I share with you, those are my go-to tools. But when it comes to the next 2, they're an absolute game changer. Now, as I said earlier, when we overthink stuff, when we're up here way too much for way too long, this is where energy is. Now, you want to get that energy out. You want to get that energy moving, because most of the time that energy is just not very useful up here. So get it moving. How do you get energy moving? By moving your body. And I really, 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 really invite you, especially as someone who's in their head a lot, is to move your body daily. I don't want you to complain about overthinking and being anxious if you don't move your body daily, because that has made all the difference for me and for so many other people that I know. And so get out and do yoga, go running, go to the gym, dance, because that's number 2. Dance regularly. Go to ecstatic dance events or do it at home. There's playlists on SoundCloud or on Spotify, and just dance, move your energy, get into a different vibration, because up here, So this is really, 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 really my number 1 tip for you is you gotta move your body, because it moves energy and it gets you out of your head. And the more you do it, and especially when you do it daily, the less you will have stuck energy up here causing you to overthink and feel anxious. Also, when you move your body, it grounds you. And grounding is really important also to get out of your head, because when we're in our head, we're like up here. And you need to come back down to earth. So what also really helps is just go out into nature, go for a walk, especially when you can barefoot. I know it's not possible for many of you all the time, but try to walk barefoot as much as you can. Let it be at home or especially outside, on grass or on sand, on earth, that grounds you down. And that is so important, especially when you're stuck up here. And now lastly, learn as much as you can about how our mind works, okay? Because I want you to empower yourself. I want you to get out of victim mode. You're not the victim of your mind. This is just a virtual reality. It's not real, okay? It's just a radio station. Everything that's going on up here is just monkeys going crazy. I want you to understand how your mind works, and go out and read books by Dr. Joe Dispenza or Bruce Lipton, listen to interviews with them on YouTube or on podcasts, and really make an effort to understand how we humans work, and that a lot of times that fight and flight response does not serve us anymore. It comes from a very long time ago when we're humans, cavemen, and we're hunting tigers, and that was great. But these days we haven't actually caught on enough yet in our biology, in our physical evolution, to the circumstances that we face in our daily life here in 2018. And so there are tools, there are strategies, there's a lot of stuff that we can use every day, and there's a lot of resources helping you to understand how the mind works and how to actually overcome overthinking and anxiety and depression. Now, I would love to know in the comments, are you an overthinker? Do you suffer from anxiety a lot? What are your tools? What has helped you? Maybe you have questions. Pop everything in the comments. I'd love to hear more. And I'm sending you a lot of love from Mexico. Until next time, bye. Mwah.